got my two-door Jeep Gladiator back in the shop, and so far we've been focusing on some body modifications and basically cosmetic upgrades to basically make it look more like a actual two-door Gladiator and less like a JK Gladiator combo. But now that it's up in the air, now I want to focus on upgrading the suspension and steering on this vehicle, because ever since I've swapped the V8 underneath the hood, been itching to take this out and do some hardcore wheeling with it. But before I do that, I want to make sure that I deal with some known problem issues with the JK. First one is the steering. Steering on the Jeep JK, it is probably one of the weakest items that always shows its flaws whenever you take it off-road. I have bent many stock tie rods on JKs on the trail, and as a matter of fact, I always carry a complete stock tie rod and drag link in the back of this Jeep whenever I've taken it out. But now I don't have to worry about this, because I'm going to upgrade all of the steering with this complete upgrade for the JK steering, and it starts with their heavy-duty 100% USA 7075 aluminum links, and you get one for the tie rod and one for the drag link. Huge 2.5-ton forgings for both tie rod ends as well as both ends of the drag link. And you can spec to have a clamp sent with your kit for either a stock steering stabilizer or if you're running any type of hydro assist. I had them send me the clamp. I don't have hydro assist on this yet, but I may in the future. So I'll just keep this with the Jeep. And if I ever add a steering ram, I have the clamp that will clamp on to the steering basically when it's all said and done. The best part is it's 100% plug and play. Just unbolt the old stuff, bolt in the new. Take the tires off. To go along with my upgraded steering, I did say that I wanted to improve this vehicle's ability off-road. And I've been keeping an eye on this particular suspension system for a while. I know a few of my friends have been running it, and I am very impressed with it. This is the RPM steering and suspension, 3-link front, double triangulated 4-link rear long arm upgrade. Now, there's a couple really cool things about this suspension. First of all, it is a true double triangulated 4-link in the rear. So you get a new cross member and all new upper and lower control arms. Now, the one thing that's a downfall to that with a JK is that if you want to run a double triangulated 4-link, you have to get rid of the fuel tank, and often that means putting some type of fuel cell inside your Jeep. But RPM has a solution for that, and they will supply a new fuel tank for your Jeep that basically goes behind the rear axle in a similar location that we used to see in like TJs and CJs. And this will basically accept the factory fuel module and all the lines, and so everything will work like a factory Jeep fuel tank. Up front, it's a 3-link, so that means that we have the panhard bar, 2 lowers and 1 upper. That is probably the best design suspension you can get for maximum articulation in a solid axle vehicle. And probably the coolest thing about it is, since RPM is known for their 7075 USA aluminum links, all of the suspension links are all that 7075 aluminum. They look beautiful. They're incredibly strong. The 7075, we like that because it's what's called memory material. So if you do bend it, it actually deflects back. It doesn't stay bent. At the end of each of the 7075 suspension links are Johnny joints. Now, these are a tried and true suspension joint, and they're fully rebuildable. They work great on and off-road. Now, you don't have to remove the body to install the suspension kit, but since it's so easy to get the bed off the back of this two-door Gladiator, that's what I'm gonna do to start. Take the bed off, and the tires, and the bumper. Everything we've done, basically. It's so big, it won't fit past the axle. Ow, that's my hand. There we go. Gravity always helps. After the fuel tank is removed, the first step is to install the new RPM steering and suspension cross member. Now, the nice thing is they give you very distinct keys to key off the frame. So there's 2 holes in the cross member that line up with 2 holes that look the exact same on the frame on both sides. You simply clamp it up into place. I ground off some of that, basically the paint or powder coat from the factory. And now I'll clamp it to the frame, and then we'll just tack weld it in for now. Then we'll remove the rear axle and strip it of all the brackets. Welder. I love welding. My favorite thing is taking pieces of metal, cutting them up into smaller pieces of metal, and then welding them together to make a bigger piece of metal. Look at that. There it is. So the lower mounts are in, I've just tacked them in, and I'm doing it a little bit differently than instructions because my plan is to try to retain the factory emergency brake in this truck. So I'm gonna have to cut a couple holes in this mount, basically pass the e-brake cable through it. That's why they're just basically tacked in place and why I kept this upper bracket on. Now we're moving on to the uppers, and because it's a double triangulated 4-link, those uppers are gonna land right on top of the center of our differential. So we need to come up with a truss. Now, when I talked to RPM Steering, he said, you know, I can send you a truss, I have a few different kinds, but considering the fact that this is not the stock axle, and most JK people run a bunch of different axles, it's honestly just better to go ahead and build one specifically for this axle, then we can put our upper mounts in. So that means plasma cutter. Yay, plasma table. That's right.